Hi, my name's Russ. I was diagnosed with ALS on 3/21/2019. ALS is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. A lot of people in the United States know it as Lou Gehrig's disease. In other countries, people know it as motor neuron disease. ALS affects 30,000 people in the United States and 450,000 people worldwide. The reason for my video today is to give you some updates on my symptoms and all the things that led up to me being diagnosed with ALS. At this time, I still breathe quite well. Anyone that has ALS may watch this video. So I breathe, talk real well. I actually can do just about everything except for anything strenuous, and it just feels like it just takes too much energy out of me. So the symptoms that I have overall are cramping, stiffness, and fasciculations. So the cramping happens everywhere. I've gotten cramps in my throat, I've gotten them in my stomach, I get them in my biceps, I get them in my forearms, I get them in my legs, I get them in my toes, calves, everywhere. I get them in my fingers, my thumb especially. If I grab anything pretty hard with my thumb, I'll get a cramp right here in the middle of my hand. Cramping is probably the number one most worst thing about this thing is the cramping. Besides the fact that, I'm losing the ability to do things. The cramping, if I didn't have the cramping, I could probably manage the rest of it without too much issue. But, so then the second thing is the stiffness. So if I was to describe the stiffness, if I get a chill, it will literally lock me up. Like, I cannot move at all until that chill goes away. The other thing is when I get out of bed in the morning, and this is one of the first things that I had really started noticing too, was kind of odd, was when I get out of bed in the morning and I go to stretch, that stretch will lock me up and I can't move or walk until all the muscles in my body decide to relax. And I'm not really sure what that's about, but I'll get out of bed and I'll literally lock up until I stretch it out, or and then it subsides and then I'm able to walk and stuff. And then the fasciculations was basically the first thing that put two and two together that there was something wrong. If you can see on this video, I'm not sure how well you can see on it, but if you notice, my biceps are both twitching quite a bit at the moment. Over the past few days, I've been twitching like crazy, and I'm not really sure why some days is worse than others. I mean, I've tried doing diet things and different things, but I still twitch all over so bad. It's mostly in my arms, some in my legs, but my toes will kind of make their own way and pull their own direction, and which is really odd. So when I first started having symptoms was in December of 2017, which I had noticed that the twitching in my shoulders after I left the gym would not go away. During the time that I started having the twitching, I was in very good shape. I was lifting a lot of weight, over 300 pound squats and over 300 pounds deadlifts. I was doing 230 on bench, and I was in pretty good shape. I mean, I felt great. The only thing that was weird was that this twitching that I usually get when I did overhead presses just would not go away, and it slowly made its way down into my biceps, my forearms, until it got to my hands, where my hands they're a little shaky too. I decided I was going to go to a neurologist, and I went to Gilbert Neurology in Gilbert, Arizona. Seen the doctor over there, great guy, super nice. They gave me an EMG on my left side, and it came back that there was no muscle deterioration, and they sent me on my way. The doctor did say if the twitching got so bad that I couldn't stand it anymore, that to come back and see him. So fast forward, that was in March of 2018. So June of 2018, April of 2018, I'd finished school, and my goal was to quit lifting weights so much and to start running again. I had this goal that I was going to try to run an ultra marathon, which is 30 miles or more. And so I decided I was going to stop lifting weights and start running. And during that time, the running was fairly easy. I started going. I was running about 3 miles every day. And I did that consistently. So then I started to implement some leg exercises into it. This is about June. In June I had started noticing that there was some problems with my right leg. It just felt different. It didn't feel like it was quite working right. And I was doing some gym stuff like knee highs and butt kicks. And butt kicks is where you kick your leg up from the back, like stand on one leg, kick your foot up from the back, and you hit your heel on your butt. And you jump up and you do it to the other side. You jump back and forth. And I could not lift my right leg up to kick my butt. Like, it just would not lift. And my family was there, and we all kind of laughed, like, oh, I'm getting old, and I forgot how to kick my butt. And so, later on, I'm Googling, cramping and fasciculations and my leg not working right. And I ran across this guy on YouTube that was talking about how he got diagnosed with ALS, hence why I'm doing these videos right now. And so he was talking about how everything kind of changed in the gym, like his workouts were a little different. He started having a problem with his right leg, like it was falling behind him. And I really related to that. And so then I was like, oh, well, I'm going to go to my primary care. And my primary care had took some blood. They had done an MRI of my spine, which, I had told them that during, when I was lifting weights, I was doing, squatting pretty heavy at this point. And this is in November of 2017. Well, I used to hold my breath when I would squat up, but at this one juncture, I was squatting, I was pushing up, and I had something happened in the back of my neck, and it hurt so bad. Like, I couldn't lift the weight. I couldn't squat weight for about a week and a half after that. But I had a headache from ear to ear on the bottom half of my neck for about 3 days until that finally went away. And I'd still try to squat, but that pain would come back. So it took about a week and a half for that pain to go away. And so they gave me an MRI of my upper spine because I had told them that story. And then they decided to send me to Foothills Neurology, where that doctor had me do an MRI of my brain, and he also sent me to Banner, to a muscle specialist at Banner. And the muscle specialist at Banner had thought that I had stiff person syndrome from the stiffness that I had. And so he had gave me this expensive blood panel. He gave me after that came back negative, he gave me a spinal tap, which that came back negative. And he had chalked it up to cramping fasciculation syndrome. So during this time, though, I continue, my balance keeps getting a little worse. My running is definitely getting harder for me to run. And I go to my primary care, and my primary care tells me, would you like a second opinion? So they send me to Mayo Clinic. I go to Mayo Clinic. They run a whole, another batch of blood panel. They give me another EMG on my right side and found out that I had the muscle deterioration. At that time, that's when they had put me on ridazole. They got me a prescription for it, and I've been taking ridazole ever since. After that diagnosis, my wife and I decided to sell the house. We sold the house. We bought a Dodge 3500 Cummins, and we got an RV, which I am speaking to you from right now. We have now both quit our jobs in Phoenix, and I filed for disability, which is going to take me 5 months to get it. So we're pretty poor right now. My wife took a huge pay cut. She has a remote job, and we're struggling to make it. My wife wants me to enjoy what time I have, but at the same time, I'm like, how are we supposed to survive? I'm here. I'm in the country. This is actually where I grew up, so I'm around family and friends all the time now, and I'm happy being here. At the time, we got the truck and RV for any trial that comes up. We could actually go and be a part of the trial if I can get into a trial. I did just say that I told someone that I wanted to get into the neuron one. It's a 50-50 double blind, but it looks like there's some good results out of it. I have no idea if I'm going to get into it or not, but we'll see. Hopefully, whatever trial I get into, whether I get a placebo or I get the goods, hopefully I'm helping somebody else out in the future. But I'd really like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you feel inclined to help out my family in any way, I will leave a link to my GoFundMe page in the notes below. But thank you, and I hope you have a great day.